Dice musical games were popular in the second half of the 18th century and were the musical equivalent for today's choose-your-own-adventure books. In this video, we'll explore one of these musical games and find out if we can actually compose a waltz by means of a dice roll. This waltz game was published around 1790 and was formerly misattributed to Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. It consists of 8 pages of music, filled with seemingly random measures from 1 to 176. The 2 table charts attached represent both halves of the waltz. Columns from A to H correspond to the measures, 8 for each half. And finally, rows from 1 to 12 represent dice roll outcomes. So, for measure 1, if the dice roll outcome is 8, we get the number 152, which corresponds to a given measure. By doing this process a total of 16 times, we'll be able to get a brand new randomly generated waltz. So this is our finished work. Notice that we don't have the typical waltz accompaniment here. And rather, we got the bass line in the late 18th century fashion, which could have worked just as well in a slower minuet.
That was trash.
The obvious issue with random generated work is that not all the combinations work as well. In this case, the melody line is a complete mess, and we've got a total of 4 different motifs in just the first 4 bars, which aren't really heard again in the second part. As a result, we perceive a general lack of motivic coherence. The only thing that makes sense is the tonal and formal structure, which is independent of the motif content, and therefore the only thing that the composer could arrange beforehand, no matter the combinations. In these types of works, the standard form is the rounded binary form, which includes a total or partial restatement of the first half at the end. However, since this was randomly generated, the very last 4 bars are simply new material, and that's another element that sounds off to me. So, keeping all this in mind, I'm going to try and recompose this and see if it gets any better.
Enough fussing around. I want to try a more creative approach. Here, I'll name this the Two-Faced Waltz.
That was even worse than the first one.
So you think you can do better?
Perhaps.
That was actually not bad. Did you cheat?
No cheating. I just followed the first row.
In the description of this video, you can find a link to my transcription of this musical game in musescore.com. You can download the file and simply copy-paste the measures directly into your score to create your own unique dice waltz.